every time it's like he's supposed to bring new revelation, but all he does is quoting old revelation and put his own twist.
He's not supposed to.
New revelation.
So many things.
So let's deal with these two, right? So Paul contradicts Jesus, and he doesn't bring new revelation. He takes old concepts and twists them. Cool. Let's deal with the first one. Well, we're going to do this, right? The apostles do not contradict Jesus. Do you agree? The disciples of Jesus.
The 12.
Yeah.
But then again,
BRB.
it's hard for me, you know?
The 12 apostles, Peter, James, John, they don't contradict Jesus, right?
We don't have anything from them.
Great. This is important now. Okay. So Paul had to go to the apostles to get himself verified. Because people...
He's the one that persuaded the apostles to let him in.
No.
It says in the Bible.
Okay. So the apostles had a discussion and they saw the stuff that Paul was doing. Paul had to go to Damascus to get verified by Ananias, who was already a Christian leader. So he does not know Paul, he does not associate with him. However, Ananias said, okay, you are verified, I baptize you. You are now a student. You are now an apostle. Right. Now.
Who's writing the story?
Huh?
Who's writing the story?
Luke.
And who is his companion?
He's not. Okay. Hold on. Wait. He's just his companion. Great. Wait, hold on. Do you know how Luke and Paul met each other?
No.
Okay. Luke was writing and documenting all of these things long before Paul came into the picture. Because Luke, in the Gospel of Luke, says, I have followed all of these things myself closely. Now, the only way to follow, for example, the persecution of Stephen, when the apostles, the 120 were in the room, before Paul was even there, was if Luke was there with the apostles already. It's not that Luke is a friend of Paul, it's that Paul is a friend of Luke.
So Luke, his Gospel, second to last one, right?
Yeah.
80 years after.
Not 80, no. Not 80. It's not 80. Do you have evidence that it was 80 years after?
70, 80.
That's not even the gospel, that's the oldest.
It was written before AD 70, so it was around 40 or 50, like 40 or 50 years, bro. And this is like being written down. The only reason he wrote it down was that people like made distinctions of it.
It definitely was like 80.
Man said 80 years.
100% sure. 80 is too far.
80 is a bit.
It is a bit too far.
No, but the hadith though, 200 years.
What, like, isn't John the one that's kind of the
last one?
Yeah, John is.
John is last. You're
there.
definitely wrong, because John was written post 70 AD.
Yeah.
Luke was written like probably pre, bro.
Basically, what you're telling me is that for 70 years he was writing things.
Yeah, he was compiling stuff. You know, he had to go all over the Christian world to get his information, right? He had to travel all the way to Damascus, to Antioch, then he had to go to Rome, okay? Then he had to go all the way to Crete to pick up stuff from Titus.
You have to talk to witnesses, you know?
He had to go to Iconium, he had to meet where Mary was in Jerusalem to get the stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff he went, man. Anyway, hopefully I help with this, man. Hopefully I help with this, bro. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the vid again. Thank you so much for the content that we've been able to share. See ya. So guess what? Guess where you're going to? Columbia Edu, yeah? So this is an argument for it. Do you want to know who wrote it? Scroll down. It was written by Bart Ehrman. We reject that. Do you know who Bart Ehrman is? He's an atheist that believes that God doesn't exist because of the problem of evil. And he was never a Christian, he was a cradle.
Story, right?
Huh?
You know his story, right?
His story?
His story, right?
Yeah, what? Bart
He
Ehrman?
was a Christian.
So he was not a believing Christian. He was not a believing Christian, that's a lie. What he was a cradle Protestant, and he tried to renew his faith, right? Which was disingenuous to begin with by trying to study. Sure. Again, Bart Ehrman himself popularized the argument, right? It's not for us. Again, this argumentation of the late dating of the Gospels comes much, much later in scholarship. As in, from, let's say, the 1900s till now. That's very recent. For around 1.8 thousand years, they were early. And by the way, we don't go by those scholars if you want to do Christian authorities, right? For example, do you go by the scholar Saba Mahmoud? Saba Mahmoud is a woman, okay? She's a feminist scholar that argues that traditional Sunni Islam is contrary to feminism and thus needs to be updated. Do you accept that? She's a scholar and she's Muslim. Do you accept that? She is a feminist that argues that Sunni traditional Islam contradicts feminism and thus they need to be synthesized. Do you agree with that? In your language, she's promoting bid'ah, okay? But you reject her even if she's a modern scholar because the ulama, right, the Sunnah is your specific authority. My authority is the early Christians. Go to them.
No, your authority is the Roman Catholic Church.
I'm telling you what my authority is. I'm telling you.
Your belief comes from the Roman Catholic
No.
Church. You're practicing Roman Christianity.
I'm not a Roman Catholic. I'm not a Roman Catholic. Yeah, so I don't, yeah. Great. Apostolic Christianity. Yeah, i.e. the Christianity that was passed down by the apostles to their students, the scholars. Those guys we follow. I'm okay. Because Paul was part of those people that was passed down. Paul had to go to the apostles, get verified, then he was able to preach.
What I reject is just by a vision.
No, not by vision, but it's because the apostles confirmed him.
He's the one that has that message and he died for your sins.
No, it's not just Paul. It is Jesus that says that, John writes that, Mark writes that, Luke writes that, Matthew writes that, James writes that, Peter writes that as well. Yeah, he says that the Son did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Hell yeah!
That's Mark chapter 10, verse 45, by the way.
This is what happened because there's just one corner of him and his mates.
No, it's not. It's thousands of Christians that preserve the faith, not just him.
One question I want to ask you. Could I suggest that the reason why you reject Paul is because you're Muslim?
No.
Are you sure?
Are you sure, bro?
Are you sure, bro?
I think it is.
Because I believe it is.
Because
Yeah.
when I read and I see Paul and keep saying because they lie. Exactly why we don't accept them. There's a gap in narration. When I read these, it's like
It doesn't contradict. Hold on.
That's the foundation.
Hey, here's what we say. Here's the thing. We are able to read the epistles of Paul. In fact, Peter, not Paul, Peter, who is not Paul, Peter says this. Hold on. I'll read something to what Peter says. Peter says that we accept the letters of Paul even though they are very hard to understand and people twist them to his instruction. Paul did not write Peter.
I'll get it for you right here.
Yeah, Peter wrote Peter, not Paul.
Okay. Okay, here it is.
Which scholars? You mean the modern ones or the authorities of Christianity? Which ones? No, the early authorities, the early church did not say this.
Okay, shall we read what Peter says about Paul?
Let's go.
Okay, this is what Peter says about Paul. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, and read it
This
onwards.
is not Paul. You can't prove that Paul wrote this.
And count the patience of our Lord as salvation, just as our beloved brother Paul also wrote to you according to the wisdom given to him, as he does in all his letters when he speaks in them as these matters. These are some things in which that are hard to understand, which the ignorant are unable to twist to their own destructions, as they do with
the other scriptures.
So if those are other scriptures, then he's saying that Paul's writing is scripture.
So here's what's important.
No, he's talking about the apostles' scripture. There's a book of Galatians, there's two gospels. Paul's own gospel and then the other. He said that
He said, no. He said, Paul doesn't say that. He says, the gospel which I preach to you is the gospel I received.
Let's go to
I didn't
Galatians.
create this. I got it from someone.
So this is the question for me.
Okay.
Jesus already was there with the apostles. He taught them a gospel.
Yeah.
Why would he later on go and go to not just an outsider, he's like someone that he didn't even teach, but a criminal instead of his 12 apostles. He had 12 people
because
to
the
choose
12
from.
because the 12 apostles all went across the Christian world and they needed more help.
He could have just picked one of them.
There's already 12. He's already picked 12.
I mean for that specific task.
So Christ has already picked them for other different tasks. It's like asking, why does God select a random guy in Arabia to be the last prophet of all prophets? Why in Arabia? Why doesn't he just pick another Jew? Why doesn't he just pick another person?
Pure guy that didn't kill people.
Okay, a pure guided person. So a random person in Arabia that's a merchant but doesn't know how to read or write should be a pure person that we should follow. No, it's a random guy in Arabia. Why? Okay, why? Okay, not even any of the descendants of the disciples of Jesus.
Cannot corrupt the scripture.
Again, so even a person that's not okay. So why didn't he choose an illiterate person that was Jewish or an illiterate Christian?
Because it's a test for the Jews as well.
All right, great. It's a test for the Gentiles. He picks Paul.
No. For the reason why he is.
It's a test for the. It's a test for the
reason
Gentiles.
why he is Arab was what I was talking about before.
It doesn't matter.
Is he trying to say Paul can't be an apostle because of what?
He's like because like he's not even a disciple of Jesus, even though he's confirmed by the apostles.
But Muhammad isn't a disciple of Jesus.
Neither. I know. It's weird.
They denied Christ. The reason why they denied
Who did Paul?
Muhammad
But he's
was
saying Paul
because he
did
was a Jew. So he's testing them. Are you following
He
yourself?
suggested that the Jews rejected Muhammad because he was a Jew because he wasn't sent to them. That's the.
We have it documented.
Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't matter. You're choosing a random person. Why didn't God just?
He was to test the Jews.
Okay, why didn't God just select someone in Native America?
But I want to ask you, like,
Why didn't God just select someone in England?
He's never sent a prophet just like that to
Okay, so why? Okay, so he's never sent a prophet just like that to people in France. He's never sent a prophet just. Okay, what prophet has been sent to France?
It says that
I don't believe in the Quran. I don't see it as evidence. Bring me other evidence historically. That's not the Quran.
it would make logical sense to you that if God sent prophets to all nations.
No, he doesn't have to.
So you're saying that
God can choose who he wants to send prophets to. He just doesn't choose
the world is big.
everyone.
The world is big.
Okay, great.
So why would
That doesn't matter.
Why would he only send prophets to
Because it's better to localize your power and then slowly spread it out than just to dot it everywhere.
You know how many civilizations, hundreds of thousands of years, and you just want to localize it.
Yep, you would localize it and spread it out.
The last 3,000.
So
That's
God
why
says
he picks
that's why he picks.
which is just in the middle.
That's why. Okay, this is why he picks a country that's like in the middle of the world, and then they spread out slowly, like the Jews, like the Christians.
It would be unfair. Think about all those people before children of Israel.
Okay, so he
died,
does again.
and then
This
never
is
had
such a bad point, right? Guess what? We believe that those people will still go to heaven by the grace of Christ.
No. He's saying basically
They will still go to heaven by the grace of Christ. It doesn't matter. Yep, Christ will still let them in heaven.
So you're saying all the people.
Yep, they will go to heaven.
Heaven.
Yep,
I have a
heaven.
burning question. I really have a burning question.
Jesus.
What's the question?
He that believes in me, not everyone, he that believes in me. So if those people receive the gospel after death and die, they can hear it after they die. They can hear it on judgment day and they'll
Wait,
believe.
he's got a question. He's got a question.
These are your own words.
No, this is Jesus'
Do
words.
you know how many words a person can remember without reading something? Having read something, having heard it before. Do you know how many words a person can remember?
Depends on just from orally.
Without reading it,
Orally.
do you know how many words?
You know what?
So, but
this is how we learn the Quran.
No. Without having heard it, without having read something, do you know how many words? 50.
50.
Never heard
50 words. Without having read something, without even
I don't know about that one.
I don't know what
I don't know about that,
But
Chief.
it's a good point, though. It's a good point. Trying to say they don't
He
memorize.
received it, didn't he? He received it, right? He never read it.
So you wouldn't be able to remember it. Right.
talking about Muhammad.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not
saying
given a
without-
divine memory, is he? He's a human being, so
That's
he's
what I'm
limited
saying.
by the memory.
Without having read it, without having come in contact with someone, a human being can't remember more than 50 words.
Every time we receive the revelation, even like physically and mentally, sometimes it's just.
So are you saying? That
no,
the
he's
whole
trying to-
revelation never came in one?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying that all of the different verses, all of the ayah were revealed at different times. But again, there are some ayahs, like there are a bunch of ayahs that may be revealed that have more than 50 words in it, so he forgets
It'll
them.
take a lot of toll of him.
Also, Muhammad was bewitched.
The words of God of heaven.
Yeah, wait. Let's talk about that. So you say that Paul can't be a prophet, but we would say Muhammad can't be one because your own hadith say that he was bewitched. Do you think that a prophet can be deceived?
They will deny this.
I don't know where you read these things. I don't know.
Isn't a hadith
Let's
Sahih
pull up the hadith.
Yeah, Bukhari, bro.
Let's pull up the hadith right now, bro.
Listen to me, brother. Would it be fair to only send prophets to one nation? It's billions and trillions.
It doesn't matter because we believe that they'll still be saved.
Never heard the word.
Yeah, but we
Never
believe
heard
that
the
they'll
message.
still be saved, bro.
But the thing is, we don't have the name of every prophet that was sent in each nation. That's the thing.
He wouldn't let me finish.
Okay.
In the Quran, it says God sent over 124,000
So why don't we have the name of all
So
those?
the ones that he mentioned, or the ones that weren't mentioned, these stories were like something we could take a lesson from, and they were major ones.
So basically, all the other nations weren't major then. Is that what you're saying?
There was-
Because,
there
like,
was
for
a-
example, like all those prophets, like the ones that we kind of recognize, most of them are Jews, right? Most of them are from Jews, but they were getting sent to one nation. Why weren't they sent to?
Okay, I got the source for you right now.
The ones that he mentions are children, the first children of Adam, and then he mentions the covenant that from Noah, and then from
Okay,
Adam.
let me ask you, those prophets that God sent, do you think that they can be deceived? Do you think they can be bewitched by Satan, by the shaitan?
That's a really good question. But what I can say is Satan can always try, but the prophets always have their protector.
Oh, okay, good. So let's read this hadith and you tell me if Allah was protecting Muhammad from being bewitched by shaitan, okay?
I've already read
Okay, Sahih al-Bukhari 6391. So you know what I'm talking about. That Allah's messenger was affected by magic so much that he used to think that he had done something which in fact he did not do, and he invoked his Lord for a remedy.
So who put this magic on him?
I don't know who put it on him, but the point is, bro, if a prophet can be deceived into thinking he did things which he did not do, if he can be bewitched, how do you know that the Quran is revelation from Allah and it's not just him being bewitched by something? Which year is what?
Time it means life.
Bro, it doesn't
But
matter
about
what
the
time in
satanic
his life.
verses as well? There's
Yeah,
that
it doesn't matter
conundrum
what
too.
time in his life it is, so long as he's been. Hold up, the rain is getting to my phone. Here it is, Sahih al-Bukhari 6391. And I got another hadith as well for it as well. My phone is very bad with the rain though.
That Allah, it's not even a capital letter. It's
That
like in
Allah's
another-
messenger.
So
There's
narrated
capital letter for
Aisha,
both.
The Allah's messenger was affected by magic so much that they used to think that he had done something which in fact he did not do. And he invoked his Lord for a remedy. Then one day he said, "Oh Aisha, do you know that Allah has advised me as the problem I consulted him about?" Aisha said, "No, the demon came to me."
Yeah.
And so on.
So the problem is, right, bro. The problem is, if yeah. So the problem is, bro. You've read the hadith now, right?
I read half of it. I didn't read
Okay, good. So the problem is,
It doesn't even say who put the magic on him.
but it doesn't matter. The principle is the same. He
not
was
God.
bewitched, bro.
It was someone that was not.
So
God.
if a prophet can be bewitched, does that not mean that revelations from God could have been a bewitching?
Something else, bro.
There's a possibility for that.
he
If
was
a
bewitched
prophet
for a
can be
year,
bewitched.
If I
But
get
we believe
bewitched,
prophets can't be bewitched.
They can't be bewitched, bro.
if a human can be bewitched,
If a prophet,
there's a remedy on it.
a prophet.
There's a remedy on it.
Is there a remedy of it? Yeah, okay,
can
let's
get rid of it.
let's say that there is a way to get rid of it. If he even can be
He
bewitched.
even says he asked his Lord for remedy.
Okay,
So
good.
that means
be
he
cured.
knows that he's
That
bewitched.
means
So he
he
knows
was
he's been
cured
bewitched.
after.
Okay,
So he
so
knows he's-
so if you can be bewitched to the point when you begin to think that you've done things which you have not done, how do you not know that he's been bewitched into the revelation of the Quran? How do you know that that's not from the shaitan?
What does he
He
say?
said immediately after that. He says he's got his remedy.
Yeah,
didn't get the
but
remedy
that's
immediately
I'm just giving you the principle of being bewitched, bro.
Either way, if someone,
way he's been
even
bewitched.
if someone, even a prophet, gets bewitched, just by turning to God, the remedy is there. They've been cured.
Can you show me that in the Quran or the Hadith?
I'm telling you from what I know about.
From what you know, I don't know what you know. So can you show me?
I'm telling you from what I know.
I can
about
tell you
something
things as well, but you wouldn't.
Here it is again. Sahih al-Bukhari 3175. Once the Prophet was bewitched so that he began to imagine that he had done a thing which in fact he did
What I
not
can say
do.
is, if anyone affected by magic, the Quran is the solution, and the Quran is the cure.
That's just dogmatism.
But we're asking you the question,
You
bro.
believe in what you believe in.
Wait, but
because
bro,
it speaks to your heart.
we're asking you the question, how do you know that the Quran is from Allah and not a bewitching from the shaitan? How do you know that?
This one I will look into.
If it's
soon.
possible, okay, you can look into it, bro.
There's also
Okay.
like places like, for example, where like you believe like prophets can't commit major sins, for example.
The Prophet can make
Major sins. Okay, great. So when Adam commits shirk in the Quran, is that an issue for you?
When did Adam commit shirk?
So I have an argument that I made up on the spot. That
made up?
I made up the argument. Yeah, I made it up. That the Quran says that Adam commits shirk, right? So I'll show you in the Quran. Okay. Let's start with this. Do you know the reason why Adam got kicked out of heaven?
It's because he refused to bow down to
Adam,
Shaitan.
No.
Oh, wait.
He got kicked out of heaven because that was the plan already.
That was the plan already.
Go
So it's
away,
okay,
go
cool.
away.
What
We
did
were
Adam
supposed to be
do?
here.
What did Adam do to get kicked out?
Well, he forgot.
He forgot. Oh, you forgot.
Wait. He forgot. Basically, God had told him to don't even come near the tree. Yeah, and if you read it, you know how Satan could strategize and how persistent he was, pushing them to go and eat.
What did he offer them?
Oh, what was it? He said that this tree will give you forever life. If you say you're saying that you're gonna die eventually, but if you eat from this tree, you're gonna have eternal life.
Is that the only thing he offered him? He offered him something else, didn't he? He offered him a kingdom that will never fade away.
Let's read the hadith. Let me read it. Alright. It says here, but Satan whispered to him, saying, O Adam, shall I show you the tree of immortality and a kingdom that does not fade away? This is the Quran.
Ayah 120.
Bro, my phone is so distracted. Yeah, we're Christian, bro.
Christian or Muslim? You're Muslim.
If you want to join in, you're free to join in, bro.
Come to the stage.
Okay, he said so.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. We have many kings, you have many kingdoms, right?
He's talking about paradise.
Yeah, so who is the king of paradise?
God.
Okay, can anyone else be the king of paradise? So if you desire to be the king of paradise, are you committing shirk? If I say, I want to be the king of paradise, but I know that only Allah is the king of paradise.
You're desiring to be Allah.
You're desiring to be something that only God can have. This is shirk.
No, but a kingdom.
A kingdom that doesn't fade away.
Does he say a kingdom that will be yours, that will not fade away? Or
Yeah, he says, shall I show this to you?
because in your Bible it says that they promise you a kingdom.
Again.
Kingdom of heaven, right? That's what the
It
Bible
says that
promises.
we'll be able to be servants in there, as in we'll be able to be
He
people in
promised you
there.
the kingdom of heaven. But it doesn't
Again,
specifically
but it
say
says
that it's
here
gonna
that
be
he's going to be a kingdom. So it says
Wait,
here,
let's read it.
shall I show you the true of immortality, meaning do you want to become immortal? And do you also want a kingdom that does not fade away? So Adam wants an eternal kingdom. Okay?
He's talking about something he will see.
Something that he will see. And so why
Not
did
something
Adam
that
eat
will
the fruit? Because of what he was shown. He wants the eternal kingdom.
He wants to see the eternal kingdom.
He doesn't want to
and
see it.
wants
It's not that he wants to see it. He wants it. He doesn't just want to see. He doesn't just want to see the king of. He doesn't. Okay.
It could be that he
Does
wants to
he?
be in
So
there.
does he just want to see the tree of
He
life?
wants to be in there.
Does he just want to see the tree of
He wants
immortality?
to be in there, not be the ruler.
No, no. Does he just want to see the tree of immortality?
No, he wants.
He wants to eat it.
also-
He wants to eat it.
First and foremost,
He wants to eat it.
from the tree.
Right. And he
Because
also wants
to
the
be-
kingdom.
He wants to be in the kingdom.
So he wants the kingdom specifically. He's already in paradise, so he's already in the kingdom. He wants his own kingdom that no one's going to take from him. Where was Adam before he ate the fruit? He was not on earth. He was in paradise. So the eternal kingdom is paradise. So he can't be shown paradise because he's already there.
But then Adam is expecting another kingdom.
So he wants another kingdom. So he wants his own kingdom.
Could be, yeah.
So then he wants an eternal kingdom that's his own.
But he's not talking about the paradise.
But that's Allah. Only Allah can have an eternal kingdom.
No, he's saying that he in eternal life.
No, eternal life and a kingdom.
And the kingdom.
So those two things are not the same.
So basically, Allah is the King of Kings.
Great. But Adam wants an eternal kingdom that only
So-
Allah can
So
have.
in that sense, there could be that Adam could be a king for his own kingdom, and God.
Wait,
is the King
let's
of
put
Kings.
it. Let's put it in a syllogism, right? Like premise one, only Allah is the king of an eternal kingdom. Premise two, Adam desired to be a king of an eternal kingdom. Premise
doesn't
three,
say that. It
to
doesn't
desire
say
to
that.
be Allah is shirk. Premise four, Adam desired to be the king of an eternal kingdom, which would mean to
because
desire
it's
to be
performer.
Allah. Therefore, Adam committed shirk.
You can do better than that.
That's not, it's not a straw man.
Because you're not really saying that Adam wants to be, and it doesn't say really
It
that
says
Adam
that
wants to be the
he
king
says
of that.
so Adam ate the fruit.
No,
So
you-
he clearly wanted.
No, you're trying to make it as if it
Did
is.
Adam want to eat the fruit? Yes or no? So he also wanted the things that Iblis offered him, correct?
He wanted to see the kingdom.
He didn't just want to see it. You just told me that he wanted his own kingdom and then Allah next to him. That's what you just said to us.
Yeah, but it's not meaning as if he's going to be the king of the whole thingy.
He said he wants to be
in
the
there.
king of an eternal kingdom, another one.
And the king of an eternal kingdom is Allah.
Only Allah can be the king of an eternal
I said,
kingdom.
if he wants the kingdom,
Yeah.
that doesn't make him the king of all kings. He can have a son.
He doesn't want to be the king of all kings. He wants to be the king of an eternal kingdom like Allah.
But in the end of the day, he doesn't answer. He doesn't say anything. These are things that he's promising.
He just eats the fruit because of the promises. So if he eats the fruit because of the promises, that's because he eats the fruit because he
But
wants
has
the
he
things
said
that the
anything?
promises.
Has he said
To
anything?
Iblis,
No, the Adam.
the next verse says that he ate the fruit.
Yeah, that's it.
So then why did he eat the
He
fruit?
doesn't say, I want to be.
Okay, why did he eat the fruit?
Tempted. Temptation.
So he wanted
He was
the thing.
tempted
He was
to have
tempted
that
to do it.
eternal
Yes.
kingdom.
So he
Yes.
wanted it.
See,
So that means he wanted the eternal kingdom.
he wants to live.
I mean, as a human being, man, come on, man.
He lied
So
to
if
him.
you want to have the eternal
Satan.
kingdom, you are wanting something that only Allah can have.